So now I'm coming to the second lot of questions, which is based on meditation. So, how does Krishnamurti's approach to meditation differ from the very many traditional forms of meditation?
Um, when we speak about many forms of meditation in the religious traditions, we have got to confine our attention to one particular religion. And let's say to begin with, we'll confine our attention to Sanatana Dharma. Because,
Okay, that's the Hindu
yes,
religion.
the Hindu religion. And the methods of meditation are too numerous. And they are assigned by the spiritual master or the guru to a practitioner of a spiritual life, depending on the temperamental inclination of that person. Whether the person has got an intellectual inclination or he has got a devotional inclination, depending on that, the master or the guru, he will prescribe some kind of meditation or the other. So if the person is very advanced, then the guru might ask him to contemplate on one of the Mahavakyas in the Upanishads, like Aham Brahmasmi or Tattvamasi or Prajnanam Brahma and so on. Or he might ask him to do the mantra japa corresponding to Ganesha or one of the deities, and so on. Large number of methods of meditation are there. But what is important to notice is that you cannot fit the bill for every one of those meditations. Your temperamental inclination and your divine architecture will make you eligible for one or two kinds of meditations. And either you must be bright enough to pick that up, or your master or guru must lead you to that. Then you're fortunate in getting into that line of sadhana or abhyasa. Now come to Krishnamurti. Krishnamurti's meditation is very different in that he is asking us to observe the movement of the self, first of all, in consciousness as thought and feeling, and second of all, in behavior and in action. He's asking us to observe. First of all, we have to identify what is that self. And that's a little difficult in the beginning because it's such a subtle thing. It's an ulterior motive, and it is a self-centered affection which is working and darting in consciousness. And Krishnamurti is asking you to watch that movement in thought and feeling. And then secondly, is asking you to watch it in speech, in behavior, and in action. Now, he called it choiceless awareness in self-knowing. Now, with awareness only you can watch. If you don't have any awareness, then you cannot watch. That's quite obvious. But then what does the world teacher mean by the adjective choiceless? Now, usually, along with this awareness comes a certain paraphernalia which belongs to the self in the form of a certain judgment or a certain prejudicial stand or a certain condemnation or a criticism or even a desire to either like or dislike what you're watching or having an inability in watching, which means you cannot watch. So all of that. So Krishnamurti is asking you to rise to a certain level of choiceless awareness, which means that your only beam going out from you is that awareness, uncontaminated by the paraphernalia of the self. That is, uncontaminated by judgment, by criticism, by condemnation, by like and by dislike. And this is the meditation that he's enjoining for the world. Then it's quite obvious that one must attempt this meditation and fail many times before one gets the beginning of a skillful expertise in that meditation, choiceless awareness of what is and choiceless awareness in self-knowing.
So would then choiceless awareness be the appropriate name for Krishnamurti's stream of meditation?
Yes, one could say that the appropriate name given by the master himself is choiceless awareness of what is. And that means that already the self has become so detached, and the self has moved away, renounced its prejudicial stance, multiple stands, and its likes and dislikes to such an extent that when you watch something, then the watching just happens very naturally, like the wind blowing into the windows and coming into the room, without dust and leaves also coming in along with that as contaminations. And they represent the choice.
Yeah.
And so without choice, you observe the whole thing.
So, you have been so steeped in Krishnamurti literature and his works and everything. So, but have you at any time adopted any of the traditional meditational methods? Like japa or mantra chanting, or the Brahma Vidya Abhyasa, all those traditional methods. Have you done it? I mean, before you went into Krishnamurti's type of meditation?
You're asking a very provocative question, but I will answer it.
No, because that is what people, if you use the word meditation, what people would normally, what is normally spoken about is, you they ask you to keep on saying, Om Namah Shivaya or Sri Rama or something. They keep on asking you to say that, or they ask you to keep on singing something, or they ask you to keep on chanting some mantra. You're chanting to some particular, Shani Bhagwan, or to something, to Surya Bhagwan or whatever. You keep on chanting, and then there is a lot of people keep on, just by going on chanting, they think that they are meditating. I mean, either they are kidding themselves about this meditation. So now from Krishnamurti's, from whatever you've talked about, what he's talking about, what he refers to as meditation, it is something quite different. That is not what thing was. I know of people who have been writing Sri Ram Jayam, 1,008 times, watching the cricket match. But the fact of the matter, three foolscap pages would have been Sri Ram Jayam 1,008 times. Now that doesn't call. And the gentleman claimed that he has done his meditation for the day, and he was very happy and think. So these are all these traditional methods. I'm not poo-pooing them, but I'm just asking, have you had any time subscribed to all of these?
You see, my condition has been somewhat different, as it is for every one of us. Every one of us is unique. So what you go through, I don't go through, and what I go through, you don't go through. And I entered into this beautiful state of being present always with the beam of awareness shining in my 23rd year. And since then, my life has been, I turned upside down, and it's very different. And there has been no necessity for me to run behind any system of meditation because I happen to be joyous in the present moment. And so the incentive or the motivation of the self to gain something by meditating, that impulse is absent in me. So I've not got into that kind of a thing. But just for the fun of it, when I was reading Nisargadatta Maharaj's I Am That, because I fell in love with the man and his teaching, I am that. So what I did was that I kept a picture of his, and then I took a Guru Mantra from Viveka Chudamani, and I chanted that 108 times. And then I found that night Sri Nisargadatta Maharaj came into my dream. And it was a very, very profound dream which left a lasting impression in my consciousness. And likewise, when I did my Guru's work, Sri Bhagwan's work, we had the Sri Murti of Bhagavan, where people used to concentrate on that, and they used to do the Sri Murti Upasana and worship the form of the Guru. Now, all these belong to the traditional methods, but Krishnamurti is suggesting something completely different. These traditional methods and traditional Upasana, or spiritual practice, or Abhyasa, spiritual practice, they are exercises in the country of consciousness. And Krishnamurti is not asking you to do any exercise, a new kind of exercise in the country of consciousness. Krishnamurti is asking you straight away to begin from the other end, from the end of awareness, which is the highest thing. And is asking you to watch everything from that hilltop of awareness. And that is something which has become very natural for me. And therefore, to answer your question, have I done any abhyasa? I have not, except enjoining the Srimurti Upasana when I was working for my Guru and Master in the first half of my spiritual life. And then when I did that brief Upasana with the Srimurti of Sri Nisargadatta Maharaj, I have not even done it with Krishnaji because there is no compelling desire, because there must be a desire to do something. There is no desire. What do you do? That's my state.
Yeah. So that would, all this would then refer to some form of Bhakti Yoga, Bhakti,
Yes.
I mean, a devotional path, no?
Yes, a greater part of the Sanatana Dharma is devoted to Bhakti Yoga. And we have got to see what is your temperamental inclination. Now, if your temperamental inclination is in the direction of a devotional adoration, you're a very emotional person, and tears come very easily to you, and your feeling nature is more heightened than your reasoning nature, then you've got to take to the so-called path of bhakti. And if you are a very clear thinker and you love to think, then the path natural to you is Jnana Yoga, where you like to understand everything.
So then would self-knowing be understood as Jnana Yoga?
Of course it is. Of course, that is what it is. A new kind of Jnana Yoga, a totally new approach to Jnana Yoga.
Or a Dhyana Yoga?
Of course, Dhyana Yoga. Krishnamurti and meditation, like the way we talked about it, choiceless awareness of what is and self-knowing, that is a new approach to Dhyana Yoga or meditative living. And that is Krishnamurti's contribution and original contribution to the existing vast repertoire of meditations already in Sanatana Dharma.
Yeah. Or even Karma Yoga?
In Krishnamurti country, I think the natural thing is Dhyana Yoga and Jnana Yoga. But I wonder if there is room there.
For Bhakti Yoga?
No, Bhakti Yoga, I am myself a great bhakta. Because my divine architecture is such that I have the stream of jnana and the stream of bhakti flowing in a confluence. So I'm fundamentally having tremendous devotional adoration to whichever source the truth comes from, quite immaterial, I mean, not directed towards a particular master. So it depends on your temperamental inclination. And so we have to go by the temperamental inclination of the devotee or the seeker. And what is not fitting him properly, we should not enjoin for him. But coming to Karma Yoga, I think that is in smaller measure, there is less scope for that in the Krishnamurti country, because that's somehow foreign to Krishnamurti and outlook on life.
Yeah.
So that's my take.
Okay, good.